Question is the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Fraser.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. 3 stories from North Korea's prison camps. First, a story told by camp survivor Ms Jae-Hoon Ah. There was this pregnant woman. The babies who were born were usually dead, but in this case the baby was born alive. The baby was crying as it was born, so we were curious. This was the first time we saw a baby being born. So we were watching this baby and we were so happy. But suddenly we heard the footsteps. The security agent told us to put the baby in the water upside down. So the mother was begging. I was told that I would not be able to have the baby, but I actually got lucky and got pregnant. So please let me keep the baby. Please forgive me. But the agent kept beating this woman. The mother had just gave birth. And the baby, since it was just born, it was crying. And the mother, with her shaking hand, she picked up the baby and she put the baby face down in the water. And the baby stopped crying, and we saw the water bubble coming out of the mouth of the baby. Second, an account told by Ms Jung Kwan-il. The man left his work unit to take some potatoes because he was extremely hungry. Fearing that the guards would try to consider this an attempted escape, he tried to hide. The guards chased tracker dogs after him. The dogs found and mauled the man until he was half dead. Then the guards shot the victim dead on the spot. Third, an event recounted by Mr Shin Dok-hyuk. Mr Shin was 13 years old when he reported a conversation he overheard between his mother and brother in which they talked about escaping from the camp. As a result, the mother and brother were both executed. Along with all other inmates, Mr Shin had to watch the public execution of his mother and his brother. I've only 5 minutes to speak about the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. But even if I had 5 hours, I could not do justice to the depravity outlined in its pages. People sent to prison camps for watching a foreign movie, for accidentally using a mobile phone, for accidentally spilling food on a picture of Kim Jong-il, for owning a Bible. A third of North Korean population malnourished, at least a third of children stunted, 1 million or more starved to death. Mass rape, beatings, public executions, forced abortions of people who return from China, a practice that is driven by racist attitudes in North Korea towards the Chinese. The collective punishment of families, trafficking of women and girls, while the leadership build statues of themselves and import Mercedes and fine cognac. This report will give you nightmares. It's the closest thing I have read to pure evil, and yet it is the truth. The Commission of Inquiry has carried out its work with impeccable thoroughness. It's conducted extensive public hearings in Seoul, London, Tokyo and Washington. Regrettably, the Chinese government did not cooperate with the inquiry. It's a pity, as China has much to gain from ending the abuses on its doorstep. The inquiry was chaired by Michael Kirby, for whom I had the privilege to work as a judge's associate. Australia has no more powerful advocate of human rights than Michael Kirby. He has done our nation proud in this work, a report underpinned by the fundamental belief that all of us are of equal worth. The North Korean prison camps have survived twice as long as Stalin's Soviet gulags and much longer than the Nazi concentration camps. The policies of North Korea are responsible for perhaps millions of deaths. The report demands action, yet too many seem to be looking away. I urge the government to take strong action on this report. That includes arguing in the Security Council for targeted sanctions, using the opportunity of our seat on the Security Council. To argue in the General Assembly for better human rights monitoring of North Korea, to support referral of the report to the International Criminal Court, and to work with our friends in the Chinese government to see them take action that will benefit China. These acts will demand courage from Australia, but to do them we must only believe one thing: that the newborn baby I described at the start of my speech was the moral equal of any of us. If we believe that, we cannot stay silent.
Thank the member for Fraser.